Good afternoon. How are you doing? I have new hair, as you can tell. Can you tell? I don't know if you can tell. Is it lighter? I hope it's lighter. Why is the light facing that way? That is very unproductive. No, my hair still looks dark in the camera. What is happening here? I usually hate filming with my hair straight, but today I'm gonna make an exception because I went to the hairdressers, I got my hair done. Anyways, welcome back. I want to talk about something juicy today, but I'm really hot, so I'm gonna take off my socks. Don't worry, you can't see my feet, even though I've got pretty feet. I think I've got pretty feet, but people who don't like feet, I think all feet are ugly to them. I don't think feet are ugly. I used to have like a really obsession with feet and squeezing them, especially if they looked like all weird. I just want to squeeze them, so I definitely am not grossed out by feet. Right, I didn't know what to name this video today because I just want to talk about this stuff that's like coming up in these books about like really understanding somebody's body and like just knowing exactly how to please them, and like it's just all this romantic stuff. I think I need to stop reading. Anyways, but I'm going to name this video Myth or Not, I Know How to Please Her, because I don't know how, but you're gonna get the point. So basically, I usually have like conversations with myself so then I can understand things and make myself feel better. And then I thought, so instead of having a conversation with myself as I usually do, I'm just gonna have it on camera so then you can hear me just like trying to figure this out, because I just really want to figure this out. Is it a myth or is it not a myth, and what does it look like when you just like really know how to please somebody? And I'm gonna get into what I'm talking about here because it's a really romantic sense, because I know I've gone on about sexuality before and like how to please somebody and stuff like that, but this feels a little bit different what I'm going to talk about today. So let's get into the story time. So basically I was watching, yeah, right, I don't watch nothing anymore. I was reading When the Moon Hatched, and if you read books and you don't want to like get a spoiler, because I forgot to like warn people when I did a video before about the fact that I was just going to talk about the whole entire everything, and so then this is a bit of a spoiler. If you don't want spoilers, then I don't know. So basically he knew her for a very long time, and then she died, and then she came back to life and he didn't know, and then he came across her and then he was trying to like convince her that he knew her already, but not really. Well, there was one scene that was just so sexy, and I was reading it and it was like, and he was saying that he really knows her body. He was telling her that he really knows how to please her and he knows all of the ways to please her, and I can't really recite word for word, but it was just the most like sexy thing ever. He made it sexy, but my first instinct was to just kind of go, what does that mean? Because to me it means something else, but because he was so sexy in the whole entire book, it was just like I bought what he was selling basically. Like, yeah, sure, you know her, but then I just had this like bit of a doubt in my head of what does that mean and how does that look like. Again, I just want to get into the topic because obviously I want to have the main topic in the other section. So that's the story time. When the Moon Hatched is the reason why I am making this video. I'm now reading the Plated Prisoner series and I'm just completely obsessed with it. I think I read the book in 2 days, the first one, and then the second one I've read it in 2 days again, and then the third one, am I on the third? Yeah, I'm on the third one, and again it's a really thick book, the third one, and again like it's only been 2 days and it's already nearly finished. I think I'm a bit obsessed with the series, and it started like really, anyway, oh my gosh, let's get on with the subject. So reading is doing something to me, and my son said to me like, are you manifesting a boyfriend? And I said, well Gabe, I have been reading for about a year now and I've not manifested a boyfriend, so I don't really know, but my heart is just activated all the time, and my poor heart, like I don't know what to do because I'm so obsessed with it. And because like I have these issues in my brain, the other day I had to clean and I was just breaking down because I wasn't allowed to read, and instead of reading I had to clean, and I was actually having a meltdown with tears and anger, and I wanted to break everything because all I wanted to do was read. So I don't know if this is becoming such an unhealthy thing where like I'm so obsessed with disappearing, and I don't even accept that these things are not true that I'm reading. Like they are actually real people in my head, and I've just read so many different people's stories, yet a human was there making it all up, and I can't accept that. No, these people are real somewhere, and right now this is the Midas, based on the Midas king who touches things into gold even though he doesn't. He's using a fairy to do it, which is the main character of the book. Anyways, the point is that these characters are being painted in such perfected ways, and I don't know, I want to experience this perfection, but I don't know how it looks like. So let's just get on with this, right? Okay, so she was getting all these flashbacks about having sex with him, even though she had not ever met him. So she was confused as to why she was getting all these flashbacks. And in the flashbacks, they were just so great. Obviously, in all of the books, it's always so great, and how much desire there is, and how much everything is so perfect, and how much you love them, and how attracted you are, and how sexy they are. It's just all this like perfection, right? But then he said, I know exactly how to please you. Now, in my experience, which I think has been not a perfect experience, it's actually been tarnished, and it's been a bit of a negative experience. For me, if you know how to please me, this is gonna sound so bad, but I think it happens in the world a lot, right? If you know how to please me, it means that I'm very difficult to please, and you know, and you have learned how it is to please me. You've learned how it is to like unwind me, because I'm not easy to unwind. And then when you unwind me, you know exactly what to do to get me to climax. And then it depends on what mood I'm in, you might not succeed, or you might succeed, so it depends what mood I'm in. And then it leads to you then being allowed to have sex with me, because you've cracked the door into being able to have sex with me. For me, that if somebody says I know how to please you, that's the only picture that I can get into my brain. But the way he says it is not that picture at all. It's like they have this like magical fantasy of like perfect sex. What perfect sex looks like in these books, yeah, is that they're extremely attracted to the person that they're having sex with. Everything they do makes them tingle, and it makes them excited, and then they end up doing the deed, and then it gives them an orgasm, and then they end up doing even more that arouses them even more, and then they have another orgasm, and then it just continues until the writer gets bored or something, and then it moves on to the next scene. So it's just like in the book, it's a reality that you just are very attracted to them. Everything that they do to you ignites this pleasure. And he doesn't go on in the book about how he knows how to please her. It just is true, because she's always getting an orgasm, and she's always attracted to him, and she's always like wanting him. So like anything that he does, she wants him. And then he's standing there, and then she's looking at him, and then she's looking at his legs, and his legs are so sexy, and his hands are so sexy, and she just wants him. And then when she has him, she is guaranteed to have an orgasm, and is guaranteed to have like this like really heightened sexual exchange that's like powerful and all wanting and all whatever, when it's just like really just nice. And again, in my experience of sex, like in the past, especially when I was younger, it's all just like a bunch of scary stuff, like like, oh, I'm nervous, or like, how does he feel? Like I said, I've never been able to orgasm in sex before, so then how does he feel? And is this like, am I sexy, and is he gonna come quick? And if he comes quick, that means that I am sexy. And it's just never been about this thing of like, oh my gosh, I'm so attracted to him, and now I want him, and now I have him, and now he's making me orgasm, or I'm making myself orgasm, and oh my gosh, he's so sexy. It's never been that for me. So then when I read this of like, oh, I know how to please her, it's like, what does that look like? And I'm just really intrigued to figure out like, what does it look like to know how to please somebody where it's not a chore? Because that's the first thing I think about. Like, I know how to make you come because I want you to hurry up and come, because I want this to be finished with. You know how to like make me turned on, because I don't want to have sex with you, but now I'm gonna have sex with you because you've been able to break the barrier. So well done, you managed to do it. So it's always just been a negative thing. I don't even know where I left off, because the kids were making too much noise in the school, and it was just like, ah! So I left, and now I'm back. But it's good that I took a break though, because I was thinking like, what am I trying to say here? And I think that I'm just trying to see if there's a way for us to make this a reality. Like, is there a way for this like, I know how to please her, to be like a positive thing? And if there's loads of experienced people out there who hasn't had negative experiences, then they obviously already have the answer. Like, yes, Nayna, it's not like that. It's not a negative thing that you know how to please somebody. It's actually a very, very positive thing. And maybe it is about just like having like all these different skills, and then being able to like read somebody so well, then you're able to like please them. Because I think that's what we're here for, right? Is like to, in terms of sexuality, is just to please each other. Not even in sexuality, but with all things, that we're here to make each other feel good. And because I've only ever had negative experiences in sexuality, well, not just negative, but just not perfect like these books. I've never ever had perfection like these books, because I've always just been too scared. Like, if I was looking at a guy that I really fancied, I'm not gonna be like, I have you here, and I want you, and you're so sexy. No, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, gosh this, oh my gosh that. I don't really want to dive into my brain in those moments. But because I've been single for a long time, I feel like I can just start fresh and let these books influence how I go forwards in life. When if I'm having sex with somebody, if I'm attracted to them, like what I'm expected to do. And if that's like building such a high expectation for me, then so be it. So I want to try and figure out what that picture looks like when somebody really knows, and not just because it has to be vice versa. Like I'm obsessed with this thing of like, it's not just you who knows how to do everything, and it's not just you who entices me. Like I want to be the predator too. I want to entice you too, and I want to know exactly how to please you. And again, in my experience, the only reason why I wanted to know how to please somebody is so then I could feel like I've accomplished something, because I've achieved it. So it's not really about your pleasure, it's about a tick box in my head, like yeah, I was able to do that. It's not about you or your pleasure. Whereas these books, it's about like the obsessiveness of being wanting to please somebody because of how much I love them and how much I desire them. And especially with these men, they like really do desire, because these books are written by women, they're painting up the perfect scenario of how much this man would desire this woman. And so then he desires her so much, he wants her so much, and so then he pays attention to every single little thing, and then he's like, yeah, you like that, okay, I'm gonna do that again. So then it becomes this like real obsessiveness. I know that there's a negative connection to obsessiveness, but that's exactly how these books paint these men, because they're so obsessed with these women that they pay attention to every single thing, and then they want to do it. And not because I want to tick something off in my head that makes me good enough or that makes me amazing. No, I'm doing it because of how much I love you and I want to please you. And that's not how I've pleased men in the past. No, I have not. I have done it as a tick. Oh, it's gone. Now I could go and smoke. Now I could go and drink, because it's done and I've succeeded at something. Not because of how much I am obsessed with you and how I adore you. And maybe the first one that I ever had, that I broke my virginity to, maybe that's exactly how I felt. But it was just after the first time that I ever had sex, it was just a downhill fall, because nobody was holding my hand. Nobody was teaching me how to, or him, because we were both like 50. I was 15, he was like maybe 2 years older. So then no, we didn't know how to nurture this feeling of completely falling in love with somebody and then wanting to know every single part of them, and then memorizing those things and knowing those things, instead of, because sometimes we see things and we don't pay attention to them, or we don't really log it into our heads because we're either too scared or we don't care. So then we just don't really pay attention to these little things. So then I'm just like really interested in that now. With these books, I've been making my brain really interested, really paying attention to somebody and saying, what do you like? Let me try things and see if you like it. And if you don't like it, how do I know that? And if you do like it, how do I know that? And I know that because of this and that. Like, so let me take my time and be obsessed with you. Because the reason why I use the word obsessed here is because, well, I think it's just an exaggeration of actually paying attention to somebody, wanting to pay attention to them. Like when you watch somebody because that you want to watch them, and if you're not interested, you don't watch them. I'm looking over here because I'm not interested in you, but because I'm interested in you, and I call that obsession, which it might not be obsession, that's the reason why I know how to please you, because I'm watching you, I'm studying you, and now I know what it is that makes you tick, or what makes you this and that. I guess then again, another thing that these men have is that they like the challenge, because they think that you're worthy of the challenge. So yes, I've learnt your body, but today I might find out something new about you, and if I do, isn't that amazing? And I'm sure that you're endless. So today, even though I know so much about you, I'm going to learn something new about you. So let me still pay attention to you, let me still try, and I'm going to keep trying. And oh well, you want that again, okay, I'll give it to you because I love you so much. So it's just this obsessive love of this endless giving. And now that's making more sense. You see why I had to have this conversation with myself, because now it's making more sense, because then it is to do with complete and utter being in love with somebody, which I cannot remember feeling that way apart from the first time that I ever fell in love when I was 15. I was completely besotted with that one, and I cried for 3 years after of how much I was besotted with him. And I think that that's what it is to really know how to please somebody. Like, you have to be utterly in love with them and not scared of them either, because if you're in love with somebody and it's the scary type, then you're scared to even look at them. So you can't be scared of looking at them. You have to observe them and look at them medium, so then you can learn all of these things, the way that you pick up your glass. And maybe we're not even used to being loved this way, because with the complexities of reality and how like we paint these perfect pictures, but in reality, if somebody was watching my every move and they were like obsessed with my every move, being known about it, maybe that would put me off. Why would that put me off? Let me just think about this for a second. I think there's a difference between like playing it cool and then being desperate. And I've had the experience of people being a bit desperate, where they're just like, oh my gosh, I want you so much, and oh my gosh, please let me have you. That's not how these guys are. They feel that way inside, like, oh my gosh, I want you so much, but they don't act that way in the outside world. And so then they play it cool. And I think that and again, that's what I've been talking about, the enticement, the being able to play a game with somebody. So then I'm not going to show you how much I like you, but I'm going to give it away here and there. And then if you ask me directly, I will tell you, but I'm not going to tell you in desperation, like, oh my gosh, I love you so much, I'm going to be cool. Like, no, I actually really, really like you. So then if I'm learning you and I know what puts you off, or I know what it is that you want from me, then I give it to you in that exact portion. So if you ask for like a medium, I'm not going to give you a large, I'm going to give you a medium, because I know that that's what you want. So then if I'm there like giving you a large and all you wanted was a small, then of course I'm going to overpower you and you're not going to like that. So I do think it's really and so then, which I think comes up to the conclusion of this video really, so then I don't know if I should really talk about this, but then it is about like compatibility, like how, because I like large, and if you like medium and I'm automatically always giving large, then we're just going to be not compatible. So I think that there is like a bunch of like watching to make sure that you're compatible, or asking to make sure that you're compatible, or sometimes we're just like more adjustable. So then if I don't mind like adjusting myself to give you what you want, even though I'm different, I can just adjust to give you what you want. Again, I think that that's also possible, because I know a lot of people say that these books are not real, they're just fantasies, they're not true, they're just putting pictures in your head that's not true. I do think that that's a pessimistic viewpoint, because I do think that if we can create these pictures, of course they're possible. And also I'm sure there's so many people, I've said this before, that think up these pictures of a girl that's like innocent and she doesn't care, and it's like, oh yeah, girls like that don't really exist. But they do exist, you just are not around them. So then I do think that we create these books for a reason, and we have these pictures for a reason, because perfection, I think, is attainable in a personal sense of what I deem as perfection. I think I can find it, and I think perfection is basically where you get what you want. And so then where we can like maybe spread a lot of knowledge like this, instead of saying, oh no, it's not possible. What we actually should do is start to preach about what it is that we find perfect, so then we could start teaching people. Because if I had like 10 different guys, right, telling me their perfect girl and what they do in sex and what they do to their bodies and how they kiss and how they touch and you know how they behave in the bedroom, if I was to just talk to 10 guys, I'm going to be so much richer in my brain by knowing what it is that makes them tick. So then I can see like, oh okay, so you like that, do you? Oh, okay, but he likes that. Okay, you like that. Oh, I see. And then so then I have like a selection of options to play with, or how I could build myself. But we don't really talk about these things, so then we don't have a lot of examples of what perfection is. So I'm going to start off and I'm going to paint you my perfect. So then I'll start the habit of sharing these things. So then you know, like, oh, so that's Nayna's perfect sex guy. Can I be that? And can I learn something from that? And can I be a little bit of her perfection? So then we teach each other how to be these perfect partners in a bedroom. So let's do this. It's kind of hard because I've not had a perfect partner, and all I've got is actually these books. And maybe that's the problem with a lot of these females, is that they actually don't know what they will find as perfect, but they do know what they don't like. So then they can start naming, oh, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. But that, for me, that's very unhelpful. Like, don't tell me what to not do, just tell me what to do. And that's the other thing as well, is that where do you find these men, right, that are like, first of all, they're a bit like bigger than you, which that's a very sore topic. So many people are not bigger than you, but they're like bigger than you in terms of like they look down on you a little bit. That's such a sore subject. Oh, maybe I'm gonna have to do a video about that one day, because I could just feel that that's like such a problem. But yeah, so then where is this guy where he walks in and he's kind but he's stern, and then he looks at you like with a cheeky thing, and he's like intelligent. You could tell that he's intelligent, you could tell that he has this whole entire brain underneath him thinking all these things, and then he's making your heart palpitate. what I see is guys who are like scared and who are not like confident person where he's like, yeah, I stand here and this is where I stand. They're not like that. They're cheeky and they're like trying to pick at you and stuff instead of being this like big guy who's like confident and who's intelligent. So I was thinking the other day that I remembered that I had, and I couldn't remember what guy it was, but I remember that there was a guy who once touched me down there with his hand, and he was extremely like slow about it, slow and like enough pressure. And I remember thinking, I'm not used to this slowness, so I'm not sure that I like it. But guess what it did? It activated me very quickly. And then when he started to build just a little bit more momentum, I was like, yes, that's what I want. And then I came so quickly because he was able, it was like almost a tease, but a tease that I didn't expect or I didn't want, but it ended up working. So then I was thinking to myself, I think I do like that where something is like very slow and very like slow. And that's why I think that I also like this like vision of somebody like entering somebody like really slow and taking their time to just enter them. Like I really like the idea of that. So then is that one of the perfect things to do is like to go really, really slow and like not rush it whatsoever. And so then that's my one. But I want to talk to so many girls because I just feel like if they start painting their perfect picture, are they painting a picture based on these images and ideas rather than reality? Because these ideas, are they going to give you an orgasm? I don't think they are, because you've not been able to. 95% of women don't know how to orgasm. So is your perfection even going to give you an orgasm? And for me, that's what I want my perfection to do, is to give me an orgasm. And if you're going slow and you're taking your time, then it's going to give me an orgasm. Because of the teasing, you're making me wait for things. And so then he would be really like into teasing. Like he's not just into like, oh, let me put my penis in you. Like no, he's really into teasing because he wants like these books go on, like he wants to bring me to like this desperate desire for him. Like he wants me to want him. So then no, I'm not going to put my penis in you. I want you to kind of almost beg me to put my penis in you. So then are you begging me? No. So then I'm not putting my penis in you until you beg me to put my, do you know what I mean? So then this type of like enticement he would do, and he would know exactly how to tease me to want it. And that's what the guy in the moon hatch one, like he was even punishing her one time of something because she did something, and then he was like, well, you're not having my penis and I'm gonna get you so wound up that you're going to be begging for it. And she did in the end, and then he gave it to her, and it was just the most euphoric thing that I was reading. I was like, oh my gosh. And so then this kind of play of like power of knowing how to play with somebody and knowing how to get them worked up and knowing how to like not give them something straight away and then give it to them. It's just all just a game. And how well do you know how to play it, and what type of game do you like? Some people, they're not very patient whatsoever, so then they would not like that, and maybe reading that scene will actually piss them off. So then you know that that's not your type of game. So then what type of game do you like, and are we compatible in these games that we like? So then we can play the games that we like in sexuality to make each other be crazy for each other. And so then maybe that is the answer. So let's conclude this video. That's exactly what I have written here on my notes of how to conclude this video, because it is about compatibility, and it's not just about the taste of like, oh, are you handsome or am I attracted to you? No, it's about the mind process and how the mind works. So my mind likes to be teased, my mind likes to be slow, my mind likes to watch. Your mind might not like to watch and it might not do that. So then are we compatible in that sense? Because then you're going to find it extremely boring to go with somebody who wants to take their time. And if you're a fast person and then you're going with your fastness, that person's going to be overwhelmed, so then they're never going to be able to orgasm because you're just going too fast. So then how does your mind work, and is it compatible with somebody else's mind? And then you can both be playing a game that you both understand and that you both like. And then so then this game becomes the learning of how to please somebody and making them entertained enough and knowing how to please them, so then they orgasm. Because I'm guessing then that the orgasm is also a game in itself. Like can you arouse me in this way, and do you know how to build up my arousal to the point where now it's all tingling? And then do you know how to then hit the spot continuously now that it's tingling? And have we built up enough space in my brain, which is the woman's job to do that, where I could just stay in this moment now. Like, have you hypnotized me enough? And all of this is compatibility. So technically, I think it is a myth then, technically, in this world currently, because I don't think a lot of us know how to do that. And I think it's all just like play pretend. I don't think it's going on whatsoever in this world. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch. A percentage of people are already having sex in this way, but the majority of humans are not, especially in particular countries, they're not having sex in this way. It's about reproduction, it's about the man ejaculating, it's about quickies, and it's not about this exchange of like obsessiveness of playing a game. So then you really want me and you're not getting me until you are begging for me, and we're not playing this type of game in sexuality. And it's not a two-way thing in sexuality in a lot of places. So currently it is a myth, but I don't think it's a forever myth. I think it's able to not be a myth. Okay, I actually have to leave my house, so I'm going to now head to the quote of the week. So I asked Google, as usual, what makes somebody compatible? So let's do it. So the sexual preferences, this includes turn-ons, desired frequency, preferred sexual environments. So do you like to have sex outside, or are you completely mortified? Is it going to put you off? Me, I like the thrill of it. So then if you don't like the thrill of it and you're always like, ugh, I hate having sex outside, again, we're not compatible. So are our sexual preferences the same? And if they are, that's going to make us be able to know how to please each other better. Unless, of course, you love me that much that you now become aroused to have sex outside, so then maybe we can influence each other with the sexual preferences. Temperament and tolerance, whether you share a similar temperament or tolerance for new sexual experiences. Are you open to my ideas? Am I open to yours? Then yes, we're going to be compatible. Communication, how well do you and your partner discuss and balance your sexual needs? So are we talking about it? Are we exchanging ideas? Are we developing, or are we just staying the same? Is it just about in and out, and then that's it, just to scratch an itch? Because no, that's not it, especially in these books. That's not what sexuality is about. And then fantasy, whether you accept each other's sexual fantasies. So are we developing? Are we creating? Are we becoming something more than we were yesterday? And so then that's going to build compatibility. Okay, let's move on. So I guess then the conclusion, the nice message is that we just need to carry on talking about this. Let's carry on. I don't know if I even gave a proper good view of my perfect. To be honest, I think I did that in another video. So you have to go and find that one, the perfect love sex thing. Yeah, so let's carry on talking about it. Let's exchange. I want to hear what people's perfect. Actually, I can't bother to like YouTube it or Google it. I just want to have conversations with people like face to face, and I just want them to tell me like, so what's your perfect girl, and what does she do in a bedroom, and how does she act, and how long does the sex last, and what does she do you know, before the bedroom? Does that impact in the bedroom? I don't know why I'm calling it bedroom when I should just be saying sex. Does the character outside of sex impact how the sex goes? Because then it's building up all these ideas in your head, right? So, and then how does then that match? How do you make it match? So if she impresses you before sex, how does then she do things in sex to match because sometimes I hear people saying that, oh, she was so attractive and sexy, and as soon as we had sex it was like dead. So how would it have not been dead? And I want to hear these things so that we could start building our appetite for sex and our characters for sex, so then we could be out here like this confident thing of like, yes, I know how to please him, and I know how to please people, and no, it's not a myth. Like, I could please whoever, and give me a man and I'll please him. And it's a truth, a reality, because I know so much, and I've understood so much, and I know how to analyze and watch somebody, so then I can know exactly what to give them. Right, I don't know if I rushed that because I actually need to leave right now. So until next time, I'll see you again. Goodbye.